Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with us, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. All right, today's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about writing solos, and I don't want to sugarcoat this for you. It's probably not for absolute beginners. Although we are going to start very slow, very basic, the difficulty level is going to escalate pretty quickly, so you already need to know some stuff about chords and scales and intervals and probably have several songs that you can play comfortably well. But as always, the goal is not this song. The solo that we're doing today is not special at all. In fact, it's not even made up yet. We're going to make it up together. But the goal is that you would take the principles that we use today, take the ones that you like, leave the rest, and hopefully leave just a little bit better than you are right now. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And thankfully, I think that's about all we need to cover before the lesson. So if you'd stick around afterwards and fill out the survey, I would love your feedback. But for now, let's have some fun and make some music. Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and this is the incomparable Kendra moderating the chat room.
Guess what? Nothing super interesting happened with me this week, but I finally have started the third draft of the story I'm writing.
Okay.
Which I'm like really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's it. And I'm editing now.
Yes. So you started out with like 80,000 words, and then you pared it down to like 70,000.
Yeah,
okay.
Ish. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So
and your goal is what?
I don't really have an end goal for my word count,
there
but I just know I need to smooth out some stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Well, today we're going to go back and we're talking about a improvisation concept called the dip, which is kind of an addition to the drop that we've talked about before. And if I could get the tablet up here, that'd be helpful. So then this has to do with like if you can already play the chords to a song. Yep. If you can already play the chords to a song. What's that?
There's just a weird cone thing.
Oh no, that's the cone thing is right. Yeah, that's on my tablet.
Oh.
That's real.
Oh, great.
Yeah, okay, cool. There's just been so many technical difficulties. You see a cone and you figure something went wrong. Nope, that one is right. So then if you can already play the chords to a song and you want to make up a solo, especially if you want to make up a jazz solo, then you're going to want to start using some of these jazz idioms. So we already talked about the drop before, and that was just where we took the notes of a chord and we played them from highest note to the lowest note. And at this point, I may have already lost some of you. So let's go ahead and just pick a regular backing track. I'm going to go to YouTube and just like type in backing track in C. Let's do like a smooth jazz. There we go. Smooth jazz backing track in C. So this has to do with like if you're in Clapple Academy, even level 1, and we do the improv section where you like have to make up a melody or whatever. Everyone can do this. This is not going to be a difficult thing, but we'll do this thing right here. This is just like the first one that came up. And we're just going to make up a melody, and then we're going to try to make this thing sound good-ish by adding in the dip, which is in addition to the drop. So, first thing we would do is note that we're in the key of C. That's why I looked for a backing track in C, right? Then that just means that we're playing all white notes. The best sounding white note is going to be C, followed by G. So already that kind of sounds like a smooth jazz solo. So, this just C's and G's so far. We should be good. I'm picking them relatively randomly. If you practice singing them out loud, that'll help you a whole lot. So, this is a very smooth jazz track here. Okay, so then that's just the safest notes. Like those sound good all the way through. And then you got the other white notes in here that are also going to sound pretty great most of the time. So you can like experiment with moving through those. In general, I would say don't jump around too much. Going from a C to a G to a C, that's a whole lot of jumping. Mostly you want to move stepwise. So from whatever note you're on to the note right next to it. So maybe after you practice some of that with the C's and the G's and getting used to the sound of that, maybe just go one note on both sides. So like from the C up to the D, and then maybe down to the B, and then back up. So that would be something like this. Using the G and the C and the note on both sides. And a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Once that all feels nice and easy and you can kind of predict the way it's going to sound before you even play it, which is the goal of singing all this stuff, is so that you can like play the notes and know what it sounds like and make sounds on purpose. That'd be cool. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-dum would be... So you want to like play this stuff for enough minutes or hours or days or weeks that you can like... You can hear it in your head first, and then you can play it out loud. That won't happen during the course of this lesson if this is the first time you've tried this stuff. But so we've got the C and the G, the notes that surround the C, and then we could do the notes that surround the G. Ooh, really? And at that point, we played the C's and we played the G's and we played the notes that surround those. There's only 2 notes left, actually just 1 note left, depending on how you see it. This E, which is actually a really great note in the key of C. It almost always sounds great. So I'm focusing mostly on C's and G's, and then E's, and then these other notes are the ones that surround the C's and the G's. So you get the idea behind all of that. Most people at this point, especially if they haven't done much improvisation, listen to what I was doing there and are like, yeah, but you know the good notes to play and you know how to make it sound good. And the only way that you ever get there is just by playing a bunch of stuff that sounds really silly, and also by keeping it really, really simple. So just practicing, like, you know, even maybe just one single note, trying to get like the rhythm down, like ba 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 ba. How would I do that? You go, ba, 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 ba. You know, and expanding little by little out from there, not trying to do a whole solo. Because when I'm playing a song, I'm not thinking about 88 keys and they're all options. I'm trying to play notes that sound good. I'm just kind of letting my ear go wherever it wants to and trying to follow it, and by playing the notes that I hear my ear wanting to sing. Unless that doesn't make any sense. And then just go back and do what I said before, the C's and the G's. So that's kind of the beginning of the improv stuff that we've done. And then after that, we've got the chord stuff. And we're not going to go a whole lot into chords here because we kind of do that every time we do the tutorial lessons. But they do have the chords written in on this one, which is really super convenient. If you're going to use the YouTube to do this thing, I would recommend that you find one that has like the actual chords written out there. Like this one says it's a C major 7, and then the next one that's coming up is an A minor 9. And so, you know, that's all really helpful to have those written out for you, because we'll start paying attention to what the chords are and playing those chords one note at a time. So, for example, and this is where we might lose some people because they're not familiar with what the chords are yet. But if that's you, then go back to that thing we were doing a second ago. So this is C major 7. And then we have the A major 9, or A minor 9, sorry. And then we've got the D minor 7. And then we've got a C over G, which is like that. It's a C with a G in the bass. C is the lowest note. And then we're back to the C major 7. And then we're to the A minor 9. And then we're at the D minor 7. And then at the C over G. So then we just go back and do that much of it. We're just gonna play the exact same chords that were listed there, except we're gonna play them one note at a time. Particularly for this lesson, we're gonna go descending because that's what we care about. Just going straight down is probably the closest thing we're gonna get today to doing what we're calling a drop. So that's just playing the chord one note at a time from the top down to the bottom. So that would sound something like this. And then the A minor 9 would be, and then D minor 7, and then back to the C major 7, and then A minor 9, then the D minor 7, then the C over G, C major 7. And then as soon as possible, changing up some of the rhythms. D minor. C major 7. Then D minor 7. C over G. F major 7 to E minor 7. So this takes some practice and some knowledge of chords from another lesson. Unless you want to just go back and steal those ones and use the same one in case that's still up on YouTube, in case YouTube is still a thing by the time you're watching this in the archives or something else has taken over. I don't know how the world works. So we're going to go back. We're going to do all that same exact stuff, except this time we're going to take that, which I'm going to call for right now a drop. It's not a truly legit drop, but it's the closest thing we'll have for today, which is playing the chords in order from top note to the bottom note, but then we're just gonna go one note lower, wherever that takes us. So on a C major 7, that's our C major 7 chord, playing it one note at a time. That's what we're gonna call a drop for right now. And then we're gonna turn this into a dip, which is the drop plus one note. Right there. So that'd be our C major 7 with that little lip on the end of it. And then A minor 9. And then one note past that. Okay, Cool. So we've got the chord, top to bottom, plus one note. Let's see what that sounds like. C major 7. Let's go. It's kind of nice, actually. And at this point, we're practicing the dip, and we don't want to get too much further into other options that you have for that, except I will say, after you've done that, a lot, maybe for hours, just practicing doing chords, but trying to hear what it's going to sound like when you play the chord. And you've got what it's going to sound like when you play the notes of the scale. Then eventually we get to start like incorporating those together. So we play a dip, and then we take that note, whatever we land on, and then try to like use our ear to hear something else that could come after that. And then when we run out of ideas there, we start another dip on whatever chord we're on at the time. So that would sound something like this. Get ready, smooth jazz, backing track, peaceful reflection. So I'm gonna play the dip, and then something else from the key, like we did before, focusing on the C's and G's. This is not the chords. And then we'll go with the dip again. Then back to the C major 7. Even if you want to zoom out here, we'll get some more notes in there. This is just improvising within the key. That was my dip, and here comes another dip. And then F major 7, dip. Just playing around in the key. And then dip. Playing around with the key. Dip. Ah. Playing around in the key. Dip. And a dip. 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 Passing around the key. So that's kind of the idea behind this thing is once you've got the scale down, or once you feel comfortable improvising in the scale like you do in Classical Academy Level 1, and then you can also play the chords to whatever song it is, and you can do this with anything. We were going to take on Seinfeld track, and we could do the same exact thing. Like we had the tutorial on Seinfeld weeks ago, I think, and we played through all the chords and stuff. Then you can take all those same chords that we played and turn that into a solo by just playing them top to bottom, and then especially if you play it top to bottom and then add in one note, that turns into a dip, and that turns into a solo. Real quick, here what that would sound like is something like this. It's been a long time since. A7, dip, E7, dip would be that. Dip would be that. So we're playing the chords that we were already playing during the tutorial, but then we use those chords to turn that into a solo. And then we play F. And we're on to the F sharp one, I think, B7. Where it changes keys too many times. I think I'm back into 8. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so maybe that wasn't the best example of the solo there because I was trying to keep track of all the keys there and show you what the chords are at the same time. But the idea is that whatever song it is that you're playing, you just take those chords, you break it down into one note at a time, top to bottom, and then as soon as you can, you add in one note at the bottom of the bottom, and that turns that thing into not just like its own like ba-ba-da-bum and have it be done like ba-ba-da-bum, but ba-ba-da-ba-bum. And then like that hopefully will expand your ear into like hearing other possibilities there instead of it just being a regular arpeggio. It's an arpeggio plus something, which then we call that jazz. Pretty much is an arpeggio plus something. Yikes, don't quote me on that at all. That's a terrible definition of jazz. But it's a great place to get started. That way you know your chords, you're starting on some soloing and stuff. So anyway, if that made no sense to you and you wish that it did, then let me know. If that made some sense and you're working on something using that concept, then send me a video of that. But either way, let me know how this landed in your playing. Unless you're just not interested at all, and then go find another lesson that is interesting to you. But if you want to get into jazz, this is kind of the starting place, is these rolls, these drops, these dips, these flips that we'll be spending some more time on in these upcoming live lessons. So I guess until next time, explore, mess up, have fun, good luck.